He's sensitive.
What's that?
He's sensitive.
Wait, what's he doing?
So he wants to eat outside of his room.
Yeah. I mean, his table's in the back.
That's true.
Could have just launched in the back. If he has input, I want him in here. If he wants like something to sit on, he can, or something to like eat on, he can have one of the tables in the back.
Oh no, it's fine. He came here because we wanted to come. So.
Oh, okay. All right. So my name is Terry, or as you know, I am chief. I don't know where I'm being CEO at. Chairman of the board for AEIOU and president. AEIOU is the company that puts on DenFur. This is Amazon. He is a Denver local. He is representing the con itself as chairman of the con. He is also a board member of AEIOU, responsible for things like operations and registrations and the convention response team. We will have Von Bon joining us. He is another Colorado local. He is a board member as well. He represents the facilities and staff. So he takes care of the hotel stuff, and he is also the chief of staff, which works with all the hiring and organization of that. I want to thank you all for coming to give us some great feedback. Our goal is to listen to what you have to say. I really don't think we need to talk too much. It's not an excuse panel. I want input. I want the good things, please. Please give me good things too. I want the bad things. And if you have suggestions or things that you would like to see, I would definitely love those as well. I do have some questions that I want to ask your input on. I really thought this room was going to be packed full. But I definitely would like a little bit of a focus group on some of the stuff that we can do. So.
And as for me, I want the questions, I want the concerns, I want the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, and I've told the entire board this, I will answer your questions as honest as I can be. Will I get in trouble with them? Most likely, but oh well. You're my community, you're the community I live every day with. I see you guys 4 times a year. So, that's my goal of this, is to answer your questions, your concerns, hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay? Deal?
Yeah.
We ask, as usual, everyone keeps a level head, everyone keeps respectful, and that'll be it. Sound good? Okay. First up, anyone?
Well, if no one else wants to go first.
Sure.
Speaking on behalf of a few other people who weren't able to make it today, I have a bit of a concern about next year's theme, actually.
Okay.
A few of my friends are concerned about the theme going forward next year, that there will be some cultural appropriation with headdresses and such. Because of the theme being Wild West and whatnot, they are Native American themselves, and they do have a very great concern that the headdresses and the feathers and the Native American imagery that's usually associated with that might be a problem. So they were just kind of wondering what DenFur might be doing to help combat that, because you guys do try to provide the best environment you can, so they were kind of concerned about that.
No, absolutely, and I've had that concern myself. So actually in the next coming weeks and months, I'll be looking at our con rules and the code of conduct for our convention here in Denver, and aiming it more towards, you know, there's a lot of things that goes with that Wild West theme that would not be appropriate to have. One is the cultural appropriation. You know, I don't think it would be appropriate to have someone out in full headdress and all that if that's not their culture. So my question to them, and they're more than welcome to send me the answer, whether Telegram, email. Telegram's probably even better, because that I can try to get to it faster than I do my email. Is how would they want to see that written?
Okay, I can definitely reach out to them
You know.
and collect some responses on that. I know the main two concerns were the headdresses were the main one, and then the feathers and the headbands that are usually.
Yeah, cause I don't wanna go outright and go, okay, absolutely not,
Yeah,
and then,
and then somebody of that culture
Correct.
not being able to appreciate it, yeah.
absolutely.
I would like for somebody I would like a contact that our theme, team can get with, so that we make sure we don't do anything to step on toes.
Okay, I can definitely reach
Because,
out to
I
them
mean,
and see
you're
if they can-
absolutely right, you know, Wild Wild West, cowboys and Indians and all that.
I think we're gonna focus more on the gold rush part of like the miners and things like that than the whole Wild West, you know, Indians versus cowboys.
Yeah,
Like
cause
beard
I was
is gonna
thinking,
be
you know, there's a
perfect.
whole bunch of imagery that is absolutely gonna be cool.
Yeah.
So I think it is gonna be a really cool theme, but there is concerns. So I can definitely reach out to them and see if they would be okay contacting you guys directly for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they wanna send it in an email from a generic email, my email's Amazon@AEIOU. It's on all the Twitters.
Okay,
Or they can fill out the form on DenFur.org.
okay.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes, absolutely. Please feel free to email me, Zeno, at AEIOU.
So all our emails, by the way, is our furry names at AEIOU. So if you know who we are as a furry, you know our email. So,
Awesome. Definitely appreciate you guys taking the time to address it.
Business
It's
cards.
actually, no.
Oh, on your shopping list. Because there's been a few times that I'd like to hand it somehow. Right. Please, go right ahead.
So we both have concerns about like furs who need accommodations. I suffer from kidney disease and have an autoimmune disorder, so I get tired extremely quickly.
Like waiting in line and whatnot.
Yeah, and Tia has,
I have issues with the tendons in my legs and ankles.
we brought crutches actually, and they got stolen our first day here, so that's great.
was, just a question, did that get reported to ConOps?
Yes, we reported it to Conops. We
We
asked if
and we
they
did the
anything.
hotel
We asked
also.
the, lost and found, we asked hotel. We went down, checked the hotel logs, found, they can't find anything. So we've been kind of struggling. I came to Denver last year, and my condition was even worse last year, but I got a sponsor ticket to make sure I could get like in front of the lines. And this year, that didn't really happen. So
Yeah,
we're
like
just
even in registry, they said there was like the 3 lines,
Mhm.
but they weren't even like, oh hey, get up here,
Right.
until there's like just 2 people in front of them.
Okay. So what, I just wanna answer that first question about the access. So my goal within the next actually 30 days, because we have another convention, is to go through, both Aquatifer, Painted Desert, Golden State, and DenFur, along with, I have a team that we've started to put together for accessibility. Starting of course with our interpreters and stuff like that. We're gonna build that team to have access for that. We're also gonna build access for people that may need mobility issues, or they can't stand in line, or things like that, whether it be a sticker on the back of their badge, to allow them to get in earlier. And then to also have a spot specifically in Reg where it can take up to 80 minutes to get up to the front of the line to just get your badge.
Yeah, that was rough the first time.
Hopefully it wasn't as bad as last year where it was 8 hours.
Yeah, she told me horror stories about last year.
Yeah, that was horror stories on my own. And you had a second question, I'm sorry.
I was actually just gonna bring up that maybe you could have like a disability pass or a health issue pass. Just to, kind of like how amusement parks let people go through the back
Oh,
area.
pass.
And a good thing to add to that, even though it doesn't affect me directly, I think it's really cool that you guys have ASL phones too.
Topher's
That
a
was-
really
Yeah.
cool guy.
I live in a
Like
very,
I literally whispered in your ear, I was like, oh wow, that's really cool.
I live in a very,
Topher's are
pro-disability household. My brother had cerebral palsy. We just like got in a fight with his high school because they didn't have a ramp, so. It would mean a lot if you guys had a little bit more stuff like that,
Mhm.
just to make sure everybody can still get on. I know we had to leave multiple panels early because it was just too much for us, because we've been standing in lines all day or having to wait.
Yeah, like opening day, it was, cause we did pre-reg the day before,
Okay.
but opening day, waiting in the opening day line, actually getting to, wasn't it the merch table? Like with
Yeah.
for the shirts and badges and lanyards? That was like another hour just to get to that table. So it was like, we were surprised at how many lines after Reg there were.
And we know that we're kind of slow and behind and stuff,
Yeah.
and we know we have to wait in lines when we go to cons, because this is like my third con. But, like waiting in one line for like an hour, and then we have to like rush across to get to some panel or something is kind of hard on us.
Mhm. Yeah, I received, from one of our staff artists, a podcast on accessibility issues within furry conventions. And I'm gonna tell you, I listened to it and I couldn't get enough of it. I listened to it 3 more times. So, that's what actually caused me to go to the board and be like, hey, I wanna put together this panel of this team that looks at all our conventions and sees where we can do better for the ADA community, whether it be interpretive services or.
I had a quick expansion on that. I know at the Red Bull was kind of off to the side, and quite a few times it was very difficult to get to.
Oh, yeah, like the escalators,
Yeah,
all
the
the
escalators were
off down
completely
there.
shut down, blocked off. The elevators over in that area were not working at all. Like the signage, the extra additional signage that you guys put up absolutely helped to finding it. But actually getting there, I myself have multiple issues within my legs. And by the time I got down there, I was in such pain, I didn't even feel like going to the panel. So that was a big issue on there.
To add to that, I know some people who are on the higher registration levels who couldn't find the demo because there was nothing said about where all it would be. They assumed it would be in the area of the sponsor lounge. And what somebody said, I posted it on Twitter, to which I replied, not everyone uses Twitter.
I do not use Twitter. So if it was posted
So
on Twitter, I would
that's
use it.
where
I had to go to Ops to find out what it was.
That is something I would like, that it has later on, but
Yeah, the signage
what
did-
platforms should we expand to? 'Cause-
If it had been posted on like the DenFur chat, I would have seen that on Telegram, a lot more, cause I am on that more frequently. But if there had been like something in the con book, like where the map was, that was a bit more explanatory where that was, because it was so off the beaten path. I did see the signs you guys put up with the directions to it, and that did really help, so I appreciate you guys doing that.
Yeah, like going right down
The sign on the door would even be good for the sponsor lounge. If it's a different area than the real people are expecting it to be, put a sign on the buttons door and say, hey, it's not here, it's there.
I know last year, something I wish they kind of brought back, is they had a giant map on multiple of the walls in the con area, along with the schedule right underneath it, and I thought that was pretty easy to understand where I was going when I came here the first time.
Yeah, like we had screenshots of the map and schedule on our phones.
We're actually hoping to go to a physical combo next year, so.
That would
Yes.
Oh, that'd be
That-
awesome.
that would be
So
amazing.
Again.
That
Yeah,
one
I
was too
think we should.
expensive for me to watch, yeah.
Yeah, cause like if we hadn't thought to screenshot it, we would have been like, oh crap, where do we need to be right now?
Yeah, we actually tried to do it this year,
We just-
but it just,
with timing.
as you know, as everything, timing.
We also wanna look into different badges. We wanna kind of copy what BLFC does with the QR code on the back. I think
somebody
that's
say
gonna
about
be a
that,
huge
didn't they?
help.
Yeah, we're gonna move to a single badge, kinda like BLFC kinda has, that you'll have ribbons underneath. And I'm not too sure how the ADA community would take to have their own ribbon to be identified, or would it be better with like a sticker on the back of the badge?
I think it would be better to have a stick on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I know I have some friends that would not be okay with the ribbon.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Give me one second. His hand.
So I guess, building a little bit off of a little bit what they're saying, especially with the tower level. I know that there was a little bit hard communication with the hotel staff on when stuff was gonna be unlocked for down there. As well as that probably within the con book, it kind of just said like tower, second level, tower, third level, versus maybe possibly using the actual names of the levels that are hosted by the hotel, by the hotel. That maybe that would have
So like
Help
to
them
have,
more.
what was Terrence level
Like
and
Terrence
Ramsey,
and, the, map.
I like to think garage.
majestic
Yeah,
level.
yeah, the majestic level.
Okay.
So that way they can also ask hotel staff and they will know what they're talking about versus just saying, hey, where's tower second level, and they don't know what that is.
I ran into that problem myself. In my notes, okay, I have an event that I need to, and it's gonna be in 1A meet. I know which floor it's on, but I don't actually know which room it is. So that's actually, yes, I definitely wanna improve that.
Cause I know, especially if you could point people to the, hotel's maps, cause they have a 3D generated map of the actual hotels. So that actually is set up super nicely to try to find where those
So
were.
do you think it would be worthwhile to see if they can do some sort of like custom map type thing that has the actual name of the space with what we're calling it?
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, cause I noticed quite a few DenFur events listed on that board, so it seems like they have the capability to at least list it, so they might have that.
Yeah, I think they have an interactive.
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
it, right?
I was playing with it for a little bit, yeah, and I was seeing DenFur events pop up on there, but it was listed with our names for the rooms and not where they had them.
I guess second thing as well, I guess, for some of the line stuff, I guess it was kinda hard to figure out what events we're going to allow for Sponsor Plus to be able to move in first, and how well communicated that was gonna be, because a lot of people, of course, just like to line up early, they like to get a good seat, and then everyone kinda just follows suit, so no one really says anything specific on, hey, these events are going to have early access for.
So I've already solved that problem for next year. So we're adding a new department under operations in CRT called, crowd control. I have come up with a better name than crowd control, maybe like furry wranglers or something like that.
Actually, it'll fit with the theme next year.
Right? That will help with A, lines, B, getting people where they need to be. I know there was also an idea of bringing in another department called ambassadors, and they would be basically people with bright yellow vests that says ambassador on the back, that you can go up and ask them a question. And they will know that.
Like portable panel.
Portable condom. So,
I don't wanna do porky pies.
you know what I mean? I'm gonna put you in a big yellow, bright purple vest. This is Zeno on the back.
Jersey.
The Alice Land theme ended. There's nothing is purple except my hair.
And your shirt.
Don't help.
Next question. Yeah.
The good, overall it was a great con, I had a lot of fun. The bad, 2 minor noises. I know the first one wasn't anything you had any control over, since you have the whole drama with trouble and contract ending. But the Fursuit Lounge is a major disappointment this year compared to the previous years. I'm hoping you plan on remedying that.
So we actually have a design for new Fursuit fans that should be made by
We have.
The way it was set up last year was perfect.
Yeah.
We have 3 different people submitting ideas for the something similar to that, including the original designer. Yes, the Fursuit Lounge was terrible.
We also want to make them lighter for our own selves, because you can ask any of the staff members sitting in this room, they suck.
The second thing is, on Friday morning, I'd asked you personally, Amazon, 2 minutes before Reg opened, if my roommates could use debit cards to pay for the rent. You said yes. And you informed that was inaccurate information when we got up to the register.
Okay.
When I picked up my swag from the con store, I had asked about the special gift because they didn't hand it to me, and the person I spoke with said, the dinner is a special gift. which raised red flags, because I know about it from previous years, but I was thinking to myself, if there's people who have gone for the higher level registration trails for the first time, or it's the first time con, or whatever, and they're told that, it's a good way to guarantee that they'll never go for a higher level registration again, if they don't know to follow it up with ops, or know that that's simply not the case. Hopefully I got it resolved. I will see when my t-shirt, 5XL t-shirt arrives in the mail.
It's sitting literally at my house right now, so I will get with you personally and I will come deliver it to you. My question though is, would you prefer to know what the gift is beforehand?
Yeah, I was trying to find
Kind
out
of,
about
sort
ops,
of.
and the guy's like, I'm just a treasurer, I have no idea.
Yeah, and that's kind of like creative kind of keeps those things
Very secret.
very secret. Like, I only knew about the messenger bags like 2 weeks ago, less than, and I'm the contract.
Mesh,
So,
mesh what?
the messenger bag.
The super patron gift was a messenger bag. There was a lot of rushing going on, and a lot of things fell through the cracks. Fursuit clips, or not the clips, the badge clips.
Yeah, they're
That
long
was-
enough of them.
Got my work badge.
We scoured DenFur, and the office supply stores used to carry 100 bags.
Right?
The Office Max, or Office Depot up the street had 37.
Yeah.
37 clips, not 37 bags, they only had 37 clips. They were sold in packets of 3 and 12.
Wow.
I would recommend trying Amazon, not DenFur, obviously.
Amazon tried Amazon, and they would not have been, they wouldn't have gotten here until like this evening.
The storm got us. There was a storm in Texas that got us. We were supposed to have them.
Just a quick thought on maybe how to keep it a secret until the con is when the higher levels start receiving their SIF, maybe just have like a little note saying, thank you, this is what's included in your package. That way they know if they got everything or not.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
And with our new system, we can do that.
Now, do you mean when you pick things up, you get a list of your tier level and what you get?
Yeah, because that I think would help keep that secrecy of not knowing what it is until you're actually there and experiencing it.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
On the line thing, I was not able to pre-reg, and when I got here, one of the people helping on Friday, I specifically asked, I have not registered, which line should I get in to register? And they put me in the patron line. And I did not know until I got up to the actual getting your badge that you had to go through Eventbrite.
Yeah.
So it would have been a bit more helpful for the people that were specifically on reg to know. So if they could have told me beforehand, hey, you know, we're only using Eventbrite. Like you said at the closing ceremonies, you guys are moving to an all-electric
Oh my
system.
God, I can't wait.
That was helpful. Because that tells me, you know, this is gonna be a thing next year and to take care of it beforehand. Because it was kind of embarrassing to step to the side because everyone then thought I was part of staff or something and started bombarding me with questions.
Yeah.
So it was simple questions that I could absolutely answer, but
Wait, I'm gonna step back just a moment. I'm sorry. My note says the merchandise receipt. Does that are you thinking when you pick up your receipt, it's a list, or when you get your receipt from the reg system?
So do you want it like, here's your badge, and here is a coupon to go pick up what you need?
kind
Or-
of like that might work, or even like when they go to get the swag, because you guys usually have it bundled up in the bags. Just have that slip in there, or even like have it closed with that slip that
I'll look
says
at
this
back on
is
the merch
included.
that says, this is the special gift.
Basically a packing list.
Yeah, like as a sponsor, all that should be included is, you know,
XYZ.
such as.
Okay.
Sponsor got t-shirt,
And-
poster, pin, and
And access those.
Did you not get a pin? get with me after.
We got everything else.
So I guess kind of leading off that, was there a specific reason, I mean, I guess I can kind of see the reason why you would have all the pickup stuff within the, dealer's den? Was there maybe a specific reason why you wouldn't have had anyone go to Sponsor Plus get the lanyard and the shirt the day of pre-registration? I guess-
So basically open for swag pickup on Thursday.
Yeah, cause I guess some, cause I talked to a couple people and some people were wondering like, you got the badge itself and they knew that they were supposed to get like a lanyard or a shirt, they didn't end up getting those, so now you're kind of just walking around with a badge.
Yeah, I had my badge in my pocket.
I have mine in my
Yeah.
wallet, cause I didn't have a clip to fit it on.
Yeah,
And then like you're coming the day of the con and you still have that with you or you forgot to bring your lanyard from another con or you wanted this specific lanyard.
Mhm.
So kind of, I guess it was more inconvenient to just get the badge itself without like the nice lanyard to go with it that day of pickup.
Or even at least just a clip or something.
Yeah, well, I guess they're out clips, so.
Plus, it would be nice to get the short first day, like you suggested, so you can like decide what day you wanna wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if the other stuff like the poster or the pen you pick up in the dealer's den, it would still kind of be nice just to get at least the lanyard and the shirt, because that seems reasonably easy enough to just have in a box there to hand out to all the Sponsor Plus.
Yeah, I think that's easy enough to talk with our den staff and our den directors about that, so.
A lot of that's, there's a lot of people involved in that, because that is con store stuff and dealer's den stuff kind of mixed together. And there's logistics of moving all of the product in and out of a locked space, whenever we're not in reg. Cause, one of the things we did is we instead of having reg at those windows, we opted for having more space with tables, so, having all that merch out there that we have, it's
Which,
kind of moving it.
how did that work for you as attendees, having it away from the windows to here?
Oh, even with my issues, I still got through the line way quicker. It was very easy.
Yeah, I think a friend of mine said the most he waited, cause I had him go through the line again at the
I know
longest,
there-
and he's like, I think the longest time he waited was like 80 minutes.
I know there were a few people that were trying to go from one side of the line to the other, so maybe just like some ropes or some barriers of some kind to block off the sides of the lines.
Yeah.
Because once it started kind of snaking, people tried to take advantage of that a few times.
Yeah, I'd do the reg thing, maybe get some more badge panels, cause my roommates had to wait an hour and a half to pick those up.
So
That's a known problem,
yeah,
we're working on it.
Which is like, they
We're
had stuff
gonna
they wanted
most
to get
likely
into.
go to a pre-printed, where then literally at reg, as you sign in, a brother printer's sitting right there, sticker comes out, goes right on the pre-printed badge, and gets handed to you.
It's a lot quicker than the
ID.
Feels like DenFur.
So they'll be bigger for people to see, they'll have more information on them, and they'll be quicker to get into your hands.
With what you were saying about the ropes, like for rec line, they had like the tape on the floor, but we didn't even know about the tape until we were like right up there. And I did see they had those, I'm not entirely sure what they're made out of, but they're almost like a cloth strap.
Yeah.
Kind of like a velvet rope.
Stanchion.
Those are called stanchions.
They had them outside the tape, and I was thinking it's just like, if they just moved them over where the tape is, you'd have the 3 solid lines right there.
We used every single stanchion the hotel had.
Oh,
That was one of those items that we couldn't replace in time. And believe me, that was a lot of phone calls. Hey, I need this much length and stanchions by Wednesday. Well, we can do it next week.
I know when we were standing there at the registration line, when we kind of got up to where the tape was, there were people in like just normal pre-reg line, like standing inside the line to talk to their friends.
yeah,
It
like
was
all the
really,
lines blended
really
together.
confusing.
Yeah, when we're able to get stanchions, that will absolutely be alleviated, and stanchions are on our shopping list of things, for sure.
They're on my shopping list on Thursday, so.
One thing I remember from previous conventions, like not just OMFC and DenFur, but other conventions throughout the US, there used to be a community bulletin board. I miss those. Like, you know, room audio,
That was a lot
or
of fun.
if you need a room, I have space in room such and such, here's my contact, or here's my contact number, hit me up.
So what we're actually thinking, and I noticed another chat has, we're gonna try to do a bot that you can literally just go on to the bot's chat and go, I need a room, this is who I am, contact me.
Yeah, the
Or,
thing is,
hey, I have a room, this is who I am, contact me.
trying
He means
to
like-
do stuff like that on the main
Like
demo
a physical
fiddle feed, it gets lost in the noise.
No, this would be almost like a separate type announcement channel. The other chat has it, and AC uses it a lot.
I think,
Or
Talking about-
are you talking about at con, like an actual bulletin?
like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
having a
physical
party in this
bulletin.
room, or,
Because
I'm
people put
shooting
like
photos
doodles
here.
and links to the website.
Yeah, and I know
Yeah, I
sometimes
find-
people would come up with panels like at con, and that's usually where like the sketchbook swap would come
Yeah,
in. And
exactly.
like things at con people would think of, and
Like-
be like, yeah, let's throw a impromptu panel,
Yeah.
and they would get it approved by you guys, and then they just put it on the bulletin board.
When my roommates wanted to do an impromptu scold on me, but she had no way to announce it.
Yeah.
I like that. Can you add, community bullets for your shopping?
It's there in my notes.
Circle faces on them. They're just like out there randomly.
Anything else from this side of the room?
I've got some stuff to say.
Sure.
First of all, I'd like to make heard my own experiences with the con. So this is good. Despite all the Twitter dumpster fire stuff that happened over the course of this past year, I will say that this con has been a very enjoyable experience for me.
Yes.
And really all the things that I personally wanted to make heard that were not great experiences have already been mentioned. And second of all, I've got some questions that I would like to ask you guys on the behalf of Boiler.
Okay.
First, when will an apology be issued to all the trans people hurt and who were collateral damage in acquiring the conventions? They used to be trans run, but now there isn't a single trans person on the board. Can you answer this on how this happened?
Sure,
Explain?
absolutely. Matter of fact, there is a trans person on our board. They're an advisor. They actually had to step away from the board due to work, which is key. They're non-binary, so
Okay.
they fall under the trans community. And as for the apology, I mean, truthfully, I'm sorry that happened. Unfortunately, that wasn't in my decision. It wasn't in Zeno's decision. It wasn't in Nova's or Rory's that came from that old board or any of our board members' decision to do that. Unfortunately, that was a sole decision of and I'm gonna say it, a crappy ass owner.
Okay. Second of all, when will the trans people who spoke up to defend themselves and have been subsequently banned and segregated into the Hiss and Purr chat be able to return to the main con chat to have their questions answered and voices heard?
So, like I've said in the Hiss and Purr chat, that was a decision that the next board meeting that we were gonna have.
Okay, thank you.
We are looking for a dedicated team of moderators that are not us, so that we can use community members that can help moderate better.
And this will be a team that encompasses all our chats, and they come for each convention from where they're from. So if we add a new convention, we will find locals from that convention to be part of the moderating team.
Okay, thank you. Third, when will you issue an apology to the former trans charity Tenacious Unicorn Ranch? They declined to work with you this year due to your inaction/silence and malicious behavior towards the harming of trans individuals who made them feel welcome. Instead of apologizing, you circumvented them and found another trans charity instead.
So for what I saw in the chat the other day, actually one of their board members actually stated that, you know, they would like to work with us next year, if we were willing to have them back.
Okay.
And that is something that our charity team will have to take up, along with the board.
Okay, thank you. And finally, give me a sec. You were directly involved in keeping Trevor involved with the conventions up until he actually attacked Boiler and Chai on Twitter openly. Can you comment on why you supported them this long? Can you also comment on why you didn't mention the harm done to them, to trans people specifically in your statement?
I will address, as president, I will address AEIOU regarding the first part of that question. Are we all adults here? I'm not gonna, is anybody under
Yes.
18, because I wanna cuss? Okay, the shit hit the fan in February, right?
Mhm,
February.
yes.
Yeah.
We were scrambling, trying to keep things afloat while Trevor is having his meltdown and attacking everybody. The rapid fire banning of everybody that would say anything bad about him. So we were struggling. We were being attacked on all sides by misinformation. We couldn't catch our breath. We were drowning. So a lot of things fell through the cracks. And I do feel like we messed up on how we handled some things, but it was just a matter we couldn't catch our breaths. Originally, the plan was that we were going to push Trevor out of his ownership position. No, we were going to push Trevor out of his control position of the cons and pay him to be an advisor. As time went on and things were continuing to be bad, including his own health problems, the decision was made that we would purchase the cons from Trevor. So we spent quite a few months negotiating with Trevor on what we could do to purchase the cons. That was hampered by multiple stays in the hospital when we weren't able to actively negotiate. After months and months and months, we were able to present to a lawyer to write up the contract. That contract involved the preferred vendor clause, saying that we would allow Trevor to place bids first, and as long as his bids were at or better than other vendors, we would accept him as our vendor. What was nice about that was that Trevor was able to provide us with all of the game room supplies, reg printers, all of the stanchions, pipe and draping, the fans, little things like
Office supplies, bloody Sharpies.
we didn't have any Sharpies. So finding vendors that could rent us all that equipment, because each one charged their own setup fee, each one charged their own transport fee, it became more beneficial to use Trevor.
Exactly what I said in response on Total, he's a one-stop shop, which is why you went with him.
Yeah.
We weren't exactly happy with it, but for the longest time, we had finally got him to shut his mouth and stop attacking people. Once he went off again on Saturday morning
is when it started.
So we were up, that's right. So, once he attacked the community again, we were able to hold him to the same accountability that we would hold him to the vendor code of conduct, which he blatantly violated. That allowed us as a board to issue him a letter saying we will no longer be using you for these companies. We will no longer require your stuff. And we even said, if you attempt to deliver stuff to the conventions, it will not be accepted. If it is left, the hotel will be contacted and it will be disposed of as garbage. I've I've lost it.
Yeah, so-
I'm
Oh,
so sorry.
it's okay.
That's a lot of information.
When it all started happening, my first reaction was to call Treble and tell him to shut his fucking mouth in plain English because what I knew was going to happen, and which you can ask Zeno, I was the one that put it to a vote in our board to remove him as a preferred vendor. I'm a very business and personal relationship separated person. I do not allow my personal relationship with someone to affect the business or operation of our organization whatsoever. And I still will not allow it. If someone that I know is being a vendor of ours and they fuck up, I will bring down the hammer, which I did.
Stop using the F bomb so much.
No, I like saying fuck. I'm sure we'll get on Twitter, but.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. That was all from Boiler. That wasn't me talking, so.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna tell you, cause like when we started to make the decision, I was like, okay, where do we go? What's our next thing? So we all belong to the FCLR, which is the Furry Conventional Leadership Roundtable. We posted in there, what can we do? You know, who can help? We need this, and this. I had a good friend that is one of the owners of the Colorado Anime Festival, and I contacted him. I said, hey, because some back history of it is Trouble used to be part of them. They did the same thing, kicked him to the curb, and took the con back from him, just like essentially what we did. And I asked him, I called him, and he goes, what can I do for you? I said, well, 2 words, Corey Wood, and he goes, okay, great, what do you need? So, panel equipment came from them, the iPads for Reg came from them, the TVs for game room, the games, some of the games for the game room came from them. So we're able to find a local organization that was able to help us out.
Who was the organization?
Colorado Anime Festival.
Cool.
So, yeah.
So I've got several friends who are locals. You're both from Colorado, right?
I am.
I'm from Phoenix.
Oh, okay. So my friends were wondering if you guys had anything in mind in terms of engaging with like
I
other.
apologize. I can't. I've had the radio in my ear, my good ear screaming. Can you shut the door so I can hear you just a little bit better?
Okay.
What's that? The door's locked. Oh, so nobody can get in?
Does your key?
Here.
Here, unlock it.
Fix this, we'll unlock it.
Yep,
Yeah.
just hit the black box above it.
I'm so sorry for interrupting.
No,
you.
no worries. So, they were wondering what sorts of ideas you guys might have for engaging with local communities. Apparently there's a lot of local like meetups that happen in Colorado that have their own leadership. And my friends were just wondering if there's anything you guys could do to kind of integrate those local communities into DenFur, or at least do some sort of like, I don't know, promotion, just, you know, involving the local.
I know that Amazon has went to a couple of the furry meets and engaged with them. You know, we did,
Von Man has.
we did coupon codes to try and get awareness out there.
I mean, I guess I gotta ask a question back to them, is what do they need from us?
Okay.
You know, we're willing to work with them, what do they need from us?
Mm-hmm.
If it's a coupon code, I could generate that in a matter of 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I will certainly reach out.
Better than the 5 from
Yeah, better than the 5 from Eventbrite, because.
Not that it matters, but is this local furry groups?
It is, yeah, I mean, it's local, it's friends I know who are local to Colorado, so I don't know exactly.
I know
the names of the groups, but.
I've been working with the, new meet up in Nevada that took place from, over from Nevada Tales, so.
Okay, cool, thank you.
I'm actually probably gonna have first of all, I'd like to know what went over, what came before I got in, cause I just got getting removed to my car.
Okay, I will blast through this real quick. I apologize if it seems like I'm
It's fine,
monopolizing things, but we are running, kinda low on time. We talked about, concerns addressed for cultural appropriation for Indian reservation, during next year's theme for the Wild Wild West. ADA assistance and physical problems during registration, medical pass for line passes, including the ConOps line. I wrote down maybe an email, text, or telegram, bot for, possibly asking for assistance. We talked about how terrible the elevator and escalator in the tower building are for ADA mobility issues, and we need to talk to the hotel on that. We need to get away from depending on Twitter for all of our information, start utilizing the webpage and the Telegram chat more. We need to address how terrible the map was and see if we can come up with a better map. We need to communicate which panels are gonna have early access for the upper tier badges. We need to get some better fursuit fans, including the builds that we used to have. One of the things that fell through the crack this year was the patrons were supposed to get a special gift. That didn't happen. We talked about doing a merch receipt so people can check off their list of items as they're given it. Stanchions for helping better crowd control, a community bulletin board for people to pin up messages while at con, and then furry outreach community groups for, or reaching out to the groups in the furry fandom in local so we can kind of build a better relationship with them. And then we also answered quite a few questions by proxy from Boiler regarding the stuff that happened throughout the year, including how poorly we treated, or how poorly Boiler, Chai, Sparks, Koi were treated, and trying to, we need to address coming up with a better relationship with Unicorn Ranch and see if we can repair that relationship as well. We also went through the whole trouble history, all the background stuff with that.
He's not from around here.
Alright, I have a few more. The rabbit hole, unless we can make that more accessible much faster, that should never be done again. Pretty much every single event that occurred in the rabbit hole collapsed in one way or another. What do you call it? I'm sure you've heard this.
Sorry to interrupt you. As in collapse, what do you mean?
Like, where, several things did not happen because people could not find the place. It was not clear on the schedule whether, or not, what floor it was even on, or in the con book. It took me 3 tries, and I'm staff, to find what floor it was on. Then when I followed the signs, they go to escalators, that were far off, no indication that we were supposed to go in an elevator. Basically, if I had wanted to go to a panel over there, I would have given up.
That is a very common thing that I've heard over this weekend, and that's we're definitely going to work on ideas on how to fix that, including a better detailed map. We want to include our name for the rooms and the hotel's name for the rooms, so you can follow that a little bit better, including the various names for the floor, because some of the elevators call it B2, other elevators call it terrace level.
But also add on that signage for the rooms, because none of the rooms were labeled AME 1 or AME 2 until like Saturday.
That's another thing.
Yeah, and not to make the excuse for it, but that was due to that was kind of, we weren't going to use it, and then we had a lot of adult panels come aboard, and we didn't wanna start to refuse more and more adult panels, because that is a part of our fandom. So when I was talking with our program, director, and board member, I said, why don't we use the bunny hole, or they call it the dungeon here. And he was like, well, that's a good idea. When I came to visit the hotel, those escalators were working.
What?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, was that like a
When
It was crazy. I was
Yeah.
over there and took a video of it. They
When-
were not.
when I came to walk through the hotel before our 30-day walkthrough, those were working. When I arrived on Wednesday, they weren't.
Okay.
So it was a surprise
Yeah.
for all of us.
Not all surprises.
But yeah, just like in general, additional signage, like rabbit hole is helpful, but also like having like a list of like, this is where all the A meets, this is where the third stage is, would also be helpful too. So that people know that they're in the right place.
Every banner that was outside of the rooms over here, mostly in main events and con-ops, every one of those banners were created by our artist team, being whipped to work faster in the span of 3 months. So I don't know if any of you are artists, but we really, really, really worked them hard, because they did all of the badge art and all of the banners in such a short time. T-shirts. That's why you noticed, for those of you that do use Twitter, there was very, very, very minimal art. We just don't have the assets. We didn't have any art to throw on there that wasn't being used somewhere else, and we couldn't share it. But now that we have all those banners and they're reusable, we can work on getting more banners for the rooms over there, and we can work on getting more art assets for splash art and that sort of stuff. But we gotta get better at it. We gotta get better at it.
So I think something that just came to mind, I know a lot of the panels that go on are usually submitted by people beforehand, and then they get like pick a time when they want stuff. I don't know how many panels, but I know maybe a couple possibly. It was a little bit hard to get more information on them, on who was kind of running the panel, and specifically if it was going to continue. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 panels that actually never ended up happening, and no one really. I asked around a couple times, and some of the big chat, but that always gets washed out. So maybe posting like who might be hosting the panel might help, so that way you can get in contact with them to see, hey, is this panel still possibly gonna happen, or did something fall through and maybe won't be happening now?
We have always had, not just us, every con I've gone to, I seem to be really lucky on picking the ones where the host has dipped out and never showed up. So, we did have that. I noticed it a lot more since COVID. People just, I can't go, so they just bundle up, but they never actually tell us that they're not coming. So we get ready for the panel, and everybody piles in for the panel, and just nothing happens.
Okay.
So, but as far as getting information on what the panel is about, I'm sorry if we missed some, but all of the panel descriptions online.
Yeah, it gives a general description, but I guess if you want more information on that, maybe try to find.
That's submitted by the panel, that's not us, that's submitted by the panel host, or the person putting in the application. They're the ones that type up that description.
Okay.
Yeah, that brings to mind something else I noticed. The panel, I'm used to convention schedules, I've got the good schedule, and then you just hover over it, and it pops up a description, who's running it, and all that. This year I had to go back and forth between 2 tabs on my phone to find out, look at the good schedule, because it's easier than trying to go do events listed by what room we're in. And then I'd have to go to another tab to find out info on the description, who's running it, and all that.
I know that if you tap on the grid, if you tap it, it would expand with all its information. Cause I know some of the titles, the panel names were a little vague in some senses, but if you tapped on them, it should have expanded a window and opened up with the description.
If they did it on my phone, maybe it's just my phone. Possibly.
We'll definitely look into it.
I mean, I'm using a potato, basically.
Potato.
I have two more things, one of them's really good though. So I held my first meet and greet this year, so it was a little new.
It was so fun.
But there was like a massive amount of people that I wasn't expecting. And I think I'd like to do it next year, but I wanted to know if there was like a way to get in contact with staff that schedule, like just booking for like the photo room, cause there were like, there were a lot of people in there, there were a lot of fursuiters in there.
Oh, yeah, like,
And they wanted to take pictures with everybody.
So, when you do your panel submission, when you do your panel submission, there should be notes. Is there a note spot?
Yeah,
So you
one
can
that you
say, I
request a
hosted this,
photographer."
I hosted this last year, and the room was too small. Can I please host this in a bigger room? And then you can say, also, can I please have a photographer? So,
Cause, we were in this room actually, and we had
Oh, yeah,
the
it was in
entire
here.
room.
and when we got
So
here,
our events team, I know, went around to each panel, and each meet and greet, like as it started and about 20 minutes after, they'd actually make a physical count of how many people were in the room. And that gets reported back to the events management. So when you go put that back in, they're gonna go look to see if it was done last year, and then be like, oh, well, this needs to be moved to secondary because, well, it was huge.
is there any way to like to get more information regarding what's available as far as hosting panels? Cause like when we got there, we didn't know what we were dealing with until we stepped in the room. And like, for example, there was a few big speakers in the corner with mics. We didn't even know if they were on or if we could use them, or if it was left there from somebody else's setup. The only reason we found out they were on is cause like when it was bumped the table and we're like, whoa, that was loud.
so that.
At least
Well, then.
here, most of all our panel rooms will all come with a microphone, speakers, and projectors,
Yes.
maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So,
And, we also are concerned about the security readers that were people like getting into the pond that weren't supposed to be there.
And
That-
there was somebody, like it didn't affect us directly, but we just learned about it and it sounds kinda scary.
yeah,
There's
so.
people on street level getting harassed, like with microphones and cameras.
There's two things here. Because there is a business on this floor, last year it wasn't a problem because the FedEx, it's the FedEx.
Yeah.
The fitness center is over in the tower and the whole floor down here was just con space. So last year we could seal it off. This is ours, don't come down here. Now that FedEx is down here, the hotel said we are not allowed to do that. Because we have, that's a business, we can't stop that business from functioning, so we had to allow people to come down for that business purpose. We were working on a way to arrange things with stanchions to try and force people to go certain ways. But if somebody went down to the main lobby and asked the main lobby, hey, I need to print this up, well, then they're going to, go down the main escalators, and that defeats where the stanchions were. So they had to, that was very frustrating. We're trying to figure out what to do. That is, we can always use more staff.
Yeah.
We could always use more staff. The stuff upstairs, that bothers me a lot, because there's so little that we can do up there. Because that's not even hotel property, that's the city property on the street. I saw the video of the guys harassing people on the.
Yeah, that's what we saw like an hour before we came in.
And that bothered me a lot, and I don't know what we could do.
Cause it sounds
but-
scary to have somebody that just come down the escalator that could be like that towards any of us here.
No, once they're in my area,
Once they're in our area, we can do something about it.
we can call the police and we can trespass them.
Oh, so
when
it's
they're-
just a street level where it's like,
That's not our space, that's,
Yeah.
we have, the hotel grants us pretty much control of everything in the convention space. there's some caveats, like the people that need to get to FedEx or people going between the elevators. But on down here, we can kick people out. We can, press charges because they're trespassing. But on the street, that's the same as if you were walking down New York and somebody yelled at you. I feel like I'm giving you a non-answer and I'm really sorry. It's very frustrating, but if we have a lot of very big, scary people, nobody.
Scary.
I did not direct that at you, did I?
Be scary. I've seen you
No,
scary.
when you were been
I've
for the
seen you
picture,
back.
I was
You
a
can't
little-
be scary when you
last
need to
night
be.
when you
You're
were
a
telling
teddy
me
bear.
I'm a bigger
not
teddy
to-
bear.
You told me
Uh-huh.
to get off that elevator and I was scared.
Hey, that was just because you're down somewhere that.
I didn't know.
Oh, you went down there?
I didn't know I wasn't supposed to until I was at the elevator.
It was a by accident thing.
Yeah.
Because that in particular elevator, if you even hit that button, it brings you down.
It's not supposed to.
It's not supposed to.
I
Yeah.
ended up down there trying to find the.
Yeah.
room.
We ended up putting a camera and a radio down there, so.
But
Yeah, it happened to me
I
too.
would very happily come up to somebody that was on that area. If they had contacted us, there's not a lot I could do, but I could go up there and offer moral support. I'm gay and I grew up in a very redneck area. I'm used to being bullied. I'm used to being taunted. I don't have a problem shifting the focus onto me away from attendees. But I can't do that because I couldn't do that because I didn't find out about it until they posted it on Twitter. There's nothing, I mean, if I can distract them and I can have my team members call the police, but then we have to wait for the police to come. I can't kick somebody off of the street. Believe me, if I could, I've been saying this multiple times. I want to keep my vendors safe in the dealer's den, because they're a huge component of the FurryCon. I want to keep my attendees safe. My attendees safe make the FurryCon. You can't have a FurryCon without attendees. So it bothers me that happened, and it bothers me that there's so little that I could have done even if I'd known it. But I could have went up there and shifted the focus of the ire and the taunting towards me to alleviate some of their frustration.
Because they're more than welcome to taunt me all day.
They're what?
They're more than welcome to taunt me all day.
Taunt.
What
Oh,
do you
no,
think
I
I
wasn't-
said?
I wasn't the only one that heard that.
We heard something else that starts with T and ends with OP.
There you go.
Our time is up. I have a few quick questions. I apologize. The panel was supposed to run until 7:30. I got a lot of great information. Some of the real quick things I wanted to ask about is, what would you like to see in the con store? What items that could we offer?
Badge laminating services.
Water bottles.
Oh, that'd be great.
I like that. Are you ready to do? I like the badge laminating because sometimes vendors can't bring badge laminating.
Yeah, and sometimes they laminate with really cheap self-adhesive stuff that rips through the holy bunch in it.
So what do you think, like $10 or something like that would be?
I actually have a heavy duty laminate, like you're willing to donate to the con if you're willing to buy the lamination.
The only thing that scares me about that is if you give me your badge to laminate, that means it's
Oh,
a
then
one-of-a-kind
it's
thing. What if I mess up?
Yeah, happens a lot.
That terrifies me.
With the laminator I've got, it's almost impossible to mess up.
Almost.
There's
I do not have a
Even
very
1%
good.
of danger.
I do not have very good luck with electronics.
No, he doesn't. We're lucky he knows how to use Twitter.
If any of you watch Twitter and you see tweets pop up and then disappear because there was spelling errors, like
That's
the
usually one of us.
I said that the amazing and wonderful Fursuit Parade would be starting.
Here's the thing, you could have a disclaimer when offering to sell this.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
It'd still be a bummer, but then the liability wouldn't be there if you did that.
That's true.
yeah, I like that idea. I actually do like that idea.
I also do have one of the like really big laminators, I might be willing to.
Yeah.
offer for
And
that.
U-line pouches typically don't mess things up.
Can you imagine, being a vendor and just all you do is laminate things?
The Golfo used to do that.
You guys think you would do masks? Like I saw some in Artist Alley. I think I saw maybe
I think
literally like
2021,
two
we
out
had
in-
a bunch of masks that we gave out.
That was
Actually,
something
I
that-
think, geez, where am I?
that was another thing that.
I was kind of hoping they'd do that, but they won't.
Yeah, I was all like, ooh, I wanna get a bird one, and then I saw like maybe two, like, cause we went over the whole floor and did.
I'm telling you the truth, I'm amazed at what we got, because when we were handed this con, it was an empty glass of water. And we had to fill it. So,
One quick question, why did the mascot change?
Well, yeah, I was curious
um,
about that.
because the artist that made that in particular person, mascot, did not want him used, so we changed it.
You kept the Rambo, it looks like.
We did. We, however, did not, bring, I don't think, did DenFur ever have suits? I don't remember.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, they
So
did.
Thorn was a suit, that's who we got rid of. And that was more because of who that suit was made by.
Oh,
Gotcha.
We can step on landmines, that's not one that I wanna step on.
Okay, so I have badge laminating, water bottles, masks, for the con store.
I don't know if I maybe just missed them, but like keychains of the mascots, I think would be really cool.
Oh, yeah. that-
Oh, absolutely.
Con-Op should have emergency repel kits for faucets.
What is it?
Emergency repel kits for faucets.
One of
Like
the
that
actual
big gun,
things,
sewing gun.
so one of the things, that I wanna bring over from the anime con side to the furry con side, in anime world, they have cosplay triage.
Yeah, same idea.
I wanna bring in Fursuit Triage.
It's like a nurse station for a person.
Actually, yeah, so in the den, if you came up to ops and said, hey, this ripped, or this happened, we'd actually call arm and leg fursuits, or the ones that made, Nova Suit, and they would have repaired it for you, no cost.
Nice.
Oh, that's.
I wish I knew that,
Oh, that'd be
but I
so
would have
handy.
had the rest of my
As long as
first
we make the
year.
black and white statue,
So,
whole suit kept like having, kept people stepping out and going,
Could you
so.
possibly do some like fried art of the mascots? I'm sure that would help a lot of people feel more at ease.
So actually, our axolotl, their tail is the progressive pride flag. So I think we're gonna, yeah, actually they were on our badges. So
That's very nice, I haven't seen that.
And
That
then sort
was-
of just to add
that
on to
was-
nothing, maybe like fursuit brushes.
yeah,
Ooh, just a whole bunch of fursuits.
Grooming
Uh,
secret.
yeah, fursuit.
On that note, balaclavas, because a lot of people who sell faucets and faucet clothes, interestingly enough, don't have balaclavas for some reason.
F-Class has baklava.
She called them the same thing and I picked.
Balaclavas.
Have you not seen how much trouble speaking I'm having?
I do. And,
Everyone's having trouble.
it's end of con.
I screamed a lot.
Our
today.
brains are starting to.
I think something like a fun little novelty item that might be kinda cool is, I attended DenFur and all I got was
Yes,
this
I like
sticker
it.
thing.
I like that.
I love that.
Hold on, let me write
Or
this.
instead, all I could afford was the sticker.
It'd be a grumpy, like,
Attended
just a grumpy.
DenFur.
Just the mascot, like arm sold and just like.
Yeah, it's just super drunk.
Oh,
Cause I mean, sometimes you only have enough to get that one thing and, you know, I think that might be a good thing for people to get.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I attended DenFur, all I got was a stupid sticker.
Oh, and I like tote bags, cause a lot of time people come to the dealers, then they buy a bunch of stuff. But
So,
especially
we
all the
had tote
handicap makers.
We did tote bags this year.
very good.
We ordered, for the super patron gift, we did tote bags, messenger bags.
Yeah.
We ordered extra specifically to see how they did in the con store. They sold out the first day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why.
And then we also had, so some of the old banners, Rory, our creative board member, turned them into tote bags.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
All right, my friends.
we love you. Hopefully we see you next year. We also have 3 other cons. You're all welcome anytime.
AV feedback.
Do we have any feedback for AV? Or does AV have feedback for us?
They want more lights and sound. They want
We
it
want
louder.
a bigger budget.
Hey, listen, you have the biggest budget of. If you guys
The only thing that charges us more than AV is the hotel.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, no, the entire room for the master bill was less than AV budget. So, if you guys need to get a hold of me, I am local, Amazon 234 on Telegram, or Amazon at AEIOU.org, or just send a form in through the website. It usually gets to me pretty quick. But if you need anything, let me know. If you see me around, say hi.
Please.
I don't bite unless asked.
Or there's cookies involved.
Yeah.
When
Unless
there's
there's those
cookies involved, for
involved.
If there's cookies involved, you touch your mouth.
You may be very upset that I cannot taste the cookies.
You could have.
I don't have that kind of money.
But at the end, I told everyone that wanted to try some cookies to get up to them. We just started passing them out.
That's the point of the cookie.
More of the joking. I was trying to get AV to spend more money.
I asked AV.
It was a bait. It was a bait.
Were they as good as Amazon hyped them up to
Yes,
be then?
yes. Nova can't have them because she's deathly allergic to gluten.
Yeah. So she can't get any of her cookies.
They're all blank baked.
Oh, so that's my
Find me.
Yeah.
Find me in a minute.
So basically, on the things you brought up, we're gonna discuss those in the next board meeting. We're gonna start approving our new admins for our team next board meeting. There's a lot to go over. We also have our post-mortem board meeting coming up, both with the board and the hotel. I know one of the things I'm gonna bring up with the hotel is the temperature in some of the rooms.
Yeah.
Also some of the ACs in the rooms kept
Yeah,
resetting, and
Oh my
people would
goodness,
wake
yeah.
up sweaty, and I don't need any musky huskies before they even get down to the pool.
Yeah, I at least survived for like an hour early because I was just like, I need to go lay down. I can't do this.
Also,
Yeah.
for some reason, our hotel staff won't clean our hotel room.
So,
Yep.
that was a COVID thing that they just kept carrying over. So the only time they actually go in is if you stay for like, I think a week, they'll go in once.
That's funny, cause it's
Gotcha.
8 o'clock every morning, how,
Yeah,
how's he
on-
good out
on
that
our
light
floor,
and
they've been-
asking if they're on himself?
Yeah, on 9th floor, they've been hitting.
If you
hitting
check in online.
Were you guys in a suite?
Yeah.
That's why.
I just in a regular room.
Yeah, we were.
Did you book outside a con block?
Yeah,
No?
They
Huh.
kept knocking on our door.
8 o'clock is like, service?
It's
Like,
like,
it's
hey,
like,
room
like,
service
it's
coming
going
over.
I'll check into that.
I have an answer to that.
Yeah.
Because of COVID, they're not doing cleanings every day, but they have to check in on every room every day, at least once. They just need to peek in.
Do they have to do it at 8 in the morning though?
It depends on when they
Yeah,
go
like
to
business
the floor.
like that one day 'cause we were tired.
If you-
I know when I go back to my room every day, my bed's
If you put the do not disturb sign on your door, they won't come in the morning.
Yeah.
They do have to come in some point during the day though, but you can always call to have them clean. I've had a couple other cons at Sheraton's in COVID times, and that's just their thing. I think it's other hotels too.
Alright, my friends, thank you so much for coming and joining us and being part of this.
If you come up with something else you'd like to share, or you don't feel comfortable sharing in a public, forum, we have already activated, the Hiss and Purr online form. So you go in, you put your name, email, and your badge number. You select what departments that you want to talk about and hit next, and then it gives you just open space where you can type whatever you want. And then, so I'm sure that I already have a few to start looking at. So.
Well,
I'm
thank you
excited.
guys
It was-
for
it
doing
was that
everything
QR
you did
code at
do
the
for
end
our
of
fun,
Close
because
Germany,
I know
the
for
Pier on
myself,
Street.
I did have a lot of fun, and I did see where you guys came through on everything.
And
that
I'll
you
tell you
did
as a
that.
local, and I told these guys when we were the cone before, DenFur was going to happen over my fucking dead body. Oh, fuck it.
See you in the pond.
What, fuck your own dead body?
Ew.
Wow.
Wow. That being said,
You
thank
walked right
guys.
into that.
everybody. Love you all. If you need something, let us know, okay?
You said something about pins.
Huh?
You said something about pins.
Pin. Pin. Didn't get the pin.
Hey, so this is what I was talking about. We got this.
Can you telegram me? Are you local? Like,
I'm
I need to count on it because
You're
they're
local.
illegal.
Can you telegram me?
Yeah.
Have, I'm sorry, you pronounce.
So much better. What I'm used to is being able to tap on
Send
something
me
on
the
the
that's illegal. That's the PDF file, make sure it's spelled out.
So that's just a
picture.
Right, but you, in previous shows, they've actually had this as a regular, just a regular page on the website. So when you go in Fursuit and try, you know, your vision's limited and you're trying to find the next thing that's, and you're not only exhausting to keep going back.
I'm not Boiler.
Because.
Boiler is somebody who is not here.
Okay.
Okay, I thought.
Yeah.
You're filming it.
Yes, I'm filming it for Boiler.
Okay.
Boiler is someone who
Send me.
was very, very involved with this
I
convention.
understand.
Yes, and was basically booted when all the dumpster fire things happened in February. So, and these were just questions that Boiler had contacted me and wanted me to ask.
Alright.
So, yep.
I just was wondering because I was actually wanting to talk toward something. That's alright.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, Boiler's not here, so.
How you doing?
Is there anything you're willing to? Do you want me to send it to you as well?
Red Fort.
The video of the graph. Outside on the street.